Finally, here is a video about the first Sonic the Hedgehog 3D platformer game, which are more than just running and platforming as Sonic, but more about that later in the video. Only, I wasn't sure if I should be making a video on original release or director's cut, aka DX. And of course, as you can see, I figured to make a video on Sonic Counter DX. I was trying to figure it out a long time before playing this game. Like when I was making the older Sonic. I was making videos for older Sonic games. I was thinking which version I should play. And when the time came to play this game for video, I figured to play this version, because I already had it on Steam, which thankfully was still. Okay, why I made mistake in script or because I already had it on Steam, which thankfully wasn't delisted from storefront when Sega delisted their classic games on storefront. So how long is it already that there isn't a replacement version of those games? Anyways, this video is about Sonic Adventure DX. Also because I don't have a Dreamcast emulator and I didn't bother looking for fun that still can work on Windows 8.1. Plus, I'm assuming that version will be better to play with a controller. I don't know how to set the keyboard controls for it, then I figured to play Sonic Adventure DX. Which to remote I completed with that keyboard when I played it the first time, and now I did it for the second time. Probably still it will be better to use a controller for the DX, but at least keyboard buttons appear as add elements in this spot. Of course, doing like this, I can compare both versions, so I can tell if I miss some of the enjoyment of the original release or not. Maybe someday I'll play the original release for a video. Still, I noticed some problems, mostly visual, but here and there were some glitches. Sonic Adventure was developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega, which was originally released only for Dreamcast, but later ported as on the export to GameCube, Windows, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. By the way, my first experience with both adventure stories are from Sonic X. After some time after watching it, I was able to play this game. Of course, there is some change between media. Sorry about the long intro, at least it seems like that when I was writing the script.
Well, that wasn't so hard. Oh no!
Story is accessible from Adventure Mode, but there are multiple characters to play as. So the story is from multiple character perspectives, and with it the premise for each character is different. Sonic running around buildings notices something happens and then starts to fight with a monster. Tails is testing using Chaos Emerald as a power source for a plane but crashes it. Knuckles on Angel Islands is sleeping in front of a Master Emerald, gets woken up when Master Emerald breaks and a Master appears and it goes searching for Master Emerald pieces. Under shopping, Amy gets bumped by a Flicky who escaped Eggman and so she wants to protect it by fleeing from Eggman's robot. Pixie gets friend Froggy notices some kind of bottle and gets possessed by a monster still, which is getting away from Pig. So Pig needs to find Froggy, for always escape big salmon fan big catch, said Brock. Rocky. E102, codenamed Gamma, is Eggman's robot for adverse follows Eggman's order, but later as a change of art. Of course, each character premise happens at different times. And overall premise is that Eggman realizes a monster named Chaos from Master Emerald to feed it Chaos Emerald so he can beat Sonic once for all and destroy city dot Bolt his own city. So then Sonic and his friends need to deal with Eggman's shenanigans. Whatever. By the way, this game started using both names for Eggman. Alice in the West. It was to introduce us to name Eggman as an insult from Sonic. Overall, the story is enjoyable, but here and there are some outdated stuff, which I didn't notice a lot, so you can look past them. For which you would are time hearing voice audio because of better default audio balance. More on it later in the video. And of course cutscenes repeat with little to no change when playing as different characters. If the cutscene is intentional cutscene for the character. Only the cutscenes annoyed me a little bit, like Sonic, a speedster, Golden Reactor, what Eggman or other characters were doing. Like Sonic, you aren't about speed, why didn't you react when Eggman is trying to slowly take emeralds? Okay, that's the problem with writing all speedsters. And it varies if Sonic can change his reaction time to normal speed or he always sees stuff in slow motion. One more thing that annoyed me was that characters were holding emeralds for no reason when in previous cutscene or gameplay, which is understandable, or even in the same cutscene, they didn't hold emeralds in the end. Like what inverse explanation is for doing like that? Or in other words, they always were holding all chaos emeralds in the end. But then wouldn't it be easier for someone to take away emeralds from others? I understand the universe explanation to move the story. But it is executed doesn't make sense, either as in universe or out of universe reason. But these things didn't have much impact on enjoyment. Of course, playing as a different character isn't just for a different perspective of the story, but also for a different playstyle. Or games? Whatever. First 3D Sonic platform game and already is more than just Sonic's playstyle. Of course, Sonic playstyle is, I'm calling it as speed platformer. Using speed and platforming to reach the end of the game. But of course Sonic doesn't just spin the switch is activated just by holding a button. Understandable for a 3D game, but also has no abilities. Homing attack which is kinda new because some form it was in one of previous Sonic games as a power-up, but this time Sonic already knows from the start of the game. He's done other jumping and in an enemy is nearby, it aims to the enemy to destroy it, otherwise you can air dash with it. There is one more ability which Sonic doesn't know as the start of the game, which you need to unlock it and it's done by Charging the spin dash. Tails playstyle is racing against Sonic or someone else. Because Tails can fly, he needs those kinda shortcuts to win against Sonic. Knuckles' playstyle is treasure hunting. In each level you need to find 3 Master Emerald fragments. Thankfully radars show for all fragments if you are nearby them, unlike in a photo game. But it's too early to say about that. It's done by Knuckles gliding and climbing walls. Amy's playstyle is slow, where she needs to fly from Eggman's robot, which she can destroy, only confuse it by using her armor. She can use her armor to jump ahead if she runs, but it's hard to get to but it's hard to get her to run. Big Gate gameplay is just the first way to play Sega Pass Fishing, which of course was delisted from storefronts by Sega, and there isn't a replacement for it. From what I have heard, where the goal is to catch Froggy in each level. Only the fishing line can get stuck on object. Unless the line clips the object, and because of it, it's hard to catch Froggy or even stop fishing. When I first played this game and play as quick, I remembered I didn't have problems with it. But now that I play it for the second time, I encounter problems with it. But then again, maybe there was update. For some reason I'm thinking and I noticed updates in the subtitle for some reason. The game overall that is. Okay, one of the reasons was why I noticed problems because I was kinda hurrying it. By the way, for Big there are upgrades even in levels. Gamma playstyle is reaching the end of the stage and maybe to a boss fight at the end of the stage in time limit, which you can increase by shooting enemies and doing combos, which will increase time more. Getting this game just for the Sonic gameplay is a bad way to play this game, because you need to play as other characters in another mode to unlock the final story entry. Thankfully, other character campaigns are shorter than Sonic campaign, which is understandable. Of course, it's to unlock Super Sonic, in which there is of course just closing the story, the final boss. Of course, it's just by completing our character stories to unlock Super Sonic story. Also, Super Sonic is only for the final boss of the game. You can't use it in the previous stages. By the way, there is an upvote for this game. You need to find where the stage itself is and how to get access to it. Because of it, in the first time I played this game, I got lost. Thankfully, there are hints where you need to go. This time as Sonic, I got lost only once, but here and there I was lost a little bit as other characters, but it wasn't a lot. Most of the NPCs in Upvolt are just static, they are just static NPCs. Of course, Adventure mode, where you can know the story of the game, isn't the only thing to do in this game. There is also a Joe Garden, a pet racing simulator where you can let them do races, which they do by themselves, but you can cheer for Joe. Only not sure what there is to indicate that often you can share it when spamming doesn't share it. Then back to playing as any character available, there are Trail and Mission modes. Trail mode is a faster way to access your unlocked stage to other goals of that stage, or rather unlocked mini-games, which are called sub-games by this game. And boss rush mode counts as mini-game in this game. Mission mode is where you need to do some tasks either in the upvolt or in a specific level, only which you need to press where you need to go to do them. If a mission happens in a stage, you don't need to finish a stage, from which you earmark emblems, which unlock something if you collect all of them, but when I started reading the script, I of course didn't get them all, which I still haven't got them, and I don't plan to do that anytime soon, if ever. I get annoyed by some missions in mission mode. And also you can find some of them in Upvote, and of course, by completing story mode, there is a set amount which you get. I avoided saying zones or acts because those aren't in games. There is only one stage per environment. Of course, different characters have difference in the same stage. Overall, you can have a good game with the gameplay, no matter what character you play as. Maybe except as big, or it varies by mode. Or maybe big fishing gameplay should have been made better. Of course, there are some problems with it, which I don't know if they were or weren't in the Dreamcast release. For this port on Windows, there is a separate launcher for options or content, for which you can trample on which you can trap behind keys and other stuff, and from which you can change audio forms for separate things, so I tried making it so I can add voice acting. However, at which the game launched without sound, and with it the intro didn't play out. For some reason, the default audio adapter is which that doesn't play audio. Because it's a Sonic game, then of course there isn't any fall damage, but even without it, when you need to go down and try to skip the stage just by falling the link down, the game doesn't allow you to do it for no apparent reason. Gameplay-wise it's understandable, but it's kinda annoying when there is no reason why the game forces you to lose your life. Especially when there aren't other situations when characters get fall damage. Turns out there is an option to see a map, which is only for the outfield, and only for the arena in which you are in. I only noticed some glitches which were visual, but here and there were gameplay glitches. Of course, one of which was big fishing line getting stuck in object. Another was a character was grouping dragged objects, or even walls, and nothing else significant, I think. I guess it's time to say it. This game introduces players to Amy subscript. Actually, what's with the deal that in Sonic Universe, anthropomorphic gays can be naked, but anthropomorphic girls have clothes on. I don't think it will be well. I don't think it will be loud if anthropomorphic animals wouldn't wear, well, female anthropomorphic animals wouldn't wear clothes. But then, so it will be gender equality. But then, maybe voucher doesn't want be possible. Make those upscript. Understandable why it will be the case for gameplay when Amy is wearing a dress, but there is a little bit of a skirt in cutscenes. The equally lively underage anthropomorphic anti-checkpoint wasn't used as reference. Because there are no such things like that in reality, right? And another thing is if anthropomorphic animals are aging in the same or in a different way as humans from the universe. Sure, in older Sonic games there were pinball elements in X, but this game there is a main stage where you need to play actual pinball, though it ain't enough rings to reach the end, which is stopped just by invisible ceiling. At least use something visible stopping the player, and don't accept the player to the stage in time in a legitimate way. As in doing the glitching stage, which turns out ammunition to do. Or you have the option to do the stage in a regular way but multiple times in the same stage session, in which there is a reference to nights, which again was delisted from Storms. I guess if I want to play it, then I guess it's sailing the seas. For the Weird Sonic 3D platformer, it is a good game, but of course from what I heard, the DX might have made it worse, but I can't confirm it or deny it. I still had fun and was enjoying the export, so figure out if you want to play this or original. Or maybe mod DX to play as close as the original, which I didn't do, because I want to play games and parts of the games as vanilla as possible. And then I'm using patches for visual novels when I play them. Well, mainly I'm using patches for visual novels to uncensor them. Well, if that would be database for censoring the game for all genres, then I probably would also uncensor all games. Something similar like VND, but for all game genres. Anyways, I need to wrap up about Sonic Adventure DX. Hope that Sega won't be delisting this game without having plans to release a better version of it when you get a chance to get it either for full price or when it's on a sale. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like on the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.